But last month, their grip on the trophy was loosened in Spain, ambushed by Atlético Madrid. 3-0 first leg winners over United, 2 of their 3 goals coming in the last 3 minutes.
Again, and a good shot. Well saved by Schmeichel, and banged in. It's 3-0. Manolo has scored. United in deep trouble now.
Tonight, Manchester United take on one of the greatest challenges in their history. They must beat Atlético by 4 clear goals.
Gordon between. Clive, it's all yours.
Thank you, Bob. Outside the snug of your box, it's damp but still Manchester night, still but far from quiet. Alex Ferguson has highlighted the part that the supporters can play, and this is the team that he's selected for them to back. Selected, hardly the word really, because his hands have been tied. The 4 non-English players, Blackmore, McClare, Hughes and Giggs. Ryan Giggs getting the final nod over Andrei Kanchelskis. Gary Walsh and Mark Robins pressed into crucial roles. At least they're not completely new to the European arena. Ryan Giggs is still 3 weeks short of his 18th birthday. He's taken every challenge in its graceful stride so far. Bernd Schuster and Paulo Futre are the only 2 foreigners in the Atlético lineup. There are 2 changes from the first leg. A more defence-minded left-back in Tony and a central defender, Donato, back after a 4-match European suspension. But they're a counter-attacking team by nature, so defending a 3-goal lead is just the job for them. Guy Goethals is an important man tonight, the 39-year-old Brussels lawyer who had charge of Era's 3-3 draw in Poznan last month, a game in which the Republic were 3-1 up until late in the day. He has charge of the game this evening. Manchester United must boldly go where no English side has been before if they're to retain a grip on the Cup Winners' Cup. No Football League team has ever lost the first leg of a European tie by 3 clear goals. Who would have played that famous night against Barcelona but for injury is alongside me. Gordon, what have Manchester United got to get done by half-time?
Well, I think the Spaniards, to start with, will be a bit apprehensive about coming here to Old Trafford tonight, and I think it's very important if we could just get a goal in the first 45 minutes, and I think we'd see a rather nervous Madrid side here in the second half.
Well, a lot's been said about that quarter-final win over Barcelona. They only got 1 in the first half that night, but they scored 2 in as many minutes early in the second. In fact, they were 3-0 up with 37 minutes still to play that evening. They'd settle for that again tonight. Number 6 is Mike Phelan playing at right back. This is Vizcaíno playing at the heart of the Atlético midfield. The number 9 who is Schuster's minder. That's Gabriel Moya, who'll play in an attacking role down the left-hand side. And Atlético are committing Moya and Futre to attack. 5 at the back, 3 in midfield, and 2 up the front. Juanito, the sweeper, taking his time over the free kick. This is Moya. Foul given against Neil Webb. Manchester United do have Gary Pallister on the substitutes bench this evening, not fit enough to start. Danny Wallace could be another trump card late in the day. Solothau'bal, unable to find Schuster, and here's Neil Webb for United. Mark Robins. It's fallen for McClare. First touch in European football for Ryan Giggs. Checked by the Atlético hard man Tomas. They'll be seeing a lot of each other tonight. Robins. Robson. Bruce. There's a frenetic urgency about United from the very first whistle. Onside, Ryan Giggs. Found beautifully by Neil Webb. Robins, McClare and Hughes wait. Giggs just lost his footing for a moment. He's short of support. He's done well to come out of that with a throw-in. Pump up the volume is the message from Alex Ferguson. He's getting the support he wants, and he's got the first corner from Clayton Blackmore. Nothing he can do now but keep his fingers crossed.
Well, this is a situation here that Steve Bruce can be vitally important. Scores a lot of goals from these situations for United.
Giggs takes the corner. It's towards Hughes. Abel flattened it somewhat. He's not the tallest goalkeeper in the world at 5'10". Bruce has lost out for a moment to Donato, but here's Robson. The clearance, an anxious one from Juanito. Manchester United trying to set the whole tone for the evening. Looking to pen Atletico in from the outset. Mike Phelan, who only returned to full training yesterday, and 3 or 4 of these United players patched up in necessity because of the importance of having Englishmen on the field. Clayton Blackmore, one of the overseas men, finding Brian Robson. 5 waiting for the cross. Hughes arriving! Less than 4 minutes! Your starter for 4 from Mark Hughes. It's his first goal for over a month. It could be the most precious he's ever scored for Manchester United.
Well, what a delight. Just the start United needed. Brian Robson picks this ball up here on the right. Controls, knocks the ball in with his left foot here. And Mark Hughes and Ryan Giggs wait to pick this one up, knock it into the back of the net. The atmosphere here just now is fantastic.
Ryan Giggs would have had to manhandle Hughes out of the way if he wanted to get to that. It was Hughes's all the way, and he's popped the first one in, and United are off and running inside 4 minutes. It's just the start they needed.
Well, they're just not letting these Spanish defenders settle in the ball at all. And that was the tactics I'm sure Alex Ferguson wanted these players to come out and approach. This is the way he wanted them to go out and approach this game early on in the game. Just don't let them settle in the ball at all. And that's exactly what's happened. And a goal to boot.
It's Mark Hughes' first goal for United since the first round against Athinaikos. There's no visible sign of a change in Alex Ferguson's mood, but he'll be a much happier man deep down inside now. Mark Hughes has lit the fuse. Mission impossible suddenly seems possible.
Well, it's vitally important people like Paul Parker and Steve Bruce keep their discipline and don't get carried away in all this excitement.
Mountain to climb is the phrase that's always used in football in these circumstances, and it's very apt here tonight because one slip and Manchester United could be off the mountain. They mustn't concede a goal. They've got to tread that fine line between playing with passion and aggression and going for goal and keeping their discipline and concentration at the back, and Gary Walsh here will have a vital part to play in that. Away by Juanito. Little flick on from Manolo. Blackmore is first to it. Headed by Tomas. Leclerc has ridden the challenge. On goes Giggs. Vizcaíno is back there to cut out the danger momentarily. Leclerc finding Robson. Cut out by Tony. Here goes Futri on the break, and this will be quite a race between he and Paul Parker. They're both devilishly quick, but Parker just had a yard start.
Well, that was tremendously encouraging for the United defence. A long through ball, the type of ball that Manolo and Futri thrive on, but Paul Parker was equal to the task.
Well, Futri's the quickest they've got, and Paul Parker was quicker. This is Neil Webb. Cut up by Solazabal. Webb appeared to be impeded. He's got his free kick. What price another one here? Steve Bruce has gone a-hunting in the penalty area. Eight minutes played. Manchester United, 1 goal to the good on the night. Neil Webb with the free kick. It's in towards Bruce. He's won it too. Turned away by Donato. Manolo. Schuster, virtually the first we've seen of him. They're not going to give him time to settle, that's for sure. Webb with the throw. Robbins with a flick on. Header unconvincing. Bruce was almost in there. Nicked away from him by Tomas. Blackmore with a shot. Under pressure, couldn't guide it. But already panic stations in the Spanish rearguard.
Yeah, very much so. The Spaniards are defending desperately just now. And for a team that's famed for their defensive record so far this season in the Spanish League, they've been none too convincing in this early stages in the game.
But no wonder, because that fourth-minute goal from Mark Hughes really has put the cat amongst the pigeons. And typically, Brian Robson it was who provided the scoring cross, and Hughes was in there ahead of Giggs. The perfect start, the perfect setup for the night. Moya. Atletico now pouring men forward on the break. Schuster finding Tomas in towards Futre. Brian McClare back there defending, and defending well. And Atletico have got 5 men committed downfield here. Robson to McClare. Might still find its way through to Robbins off Juanito. Donato seemed to know what he was doing. This is Ben Schuster. He's got Neil Webb for company though.
Well, he's certainly one player they can't allow to give any room whatsoever with his pinpoint passing and with Futre and Manolo's pace.
He's a bit of a loner, is Schuster. He rooms alone in the Atletico camp. He fell out with his national team manager, Jupp Derval in Germany. He's fallen out with various managers down the years for Cologne and Barcelona and Real Madrid, but he is an individual by nature, and he's the sort of individual who United have got to keep an eye on. But all eyes are on the men in red at the moment. Already 1 up. Spaniards trained here last night and complained about the length of the grass. They were complaining about the match ball before they'd even seen it. Paulo Futre was making all manner of suspicious remarks about the referee before he even knew who he was. But they're getting on with their business now with Tony. Vizcaíno, nicely helped in. Vizcaíno seemed to be impeded there by Robson as he went for the return. This is Futre. Too long though for Moya.
Well, that was a sensational recovery tackle by Brian Robson there back in his own box. And if he's 34 and too old, I bet you Alex Ferguson wishes he had a few more like that.
He was just 27 years of age that famous night here in 1984 when he fired the win over Barcelona. But he doesn't play much differently now. And neither does Mark Hughes, crashing in there with a late challenge. Not played since the first leg. He's had to serve that domestic suspension. We thought he might be a little bit ring rusty. We were wrong. A goal in 4 minutes. Juanito's free kick seeking out Futre. Hooked away by Blackmore after the initial challenge by Parker. Here's Schuster. Good turn by Manolo. Futre has only Moya in the middle for the moment. Futre is very left-footed. And they just managed to force him into a rather awkward sort of cross, and Webb and McClare did just enough. Appeal for handball against Juanito. On by Moya. Vizcaíno. Schuster. Moya. Vizcaíno. Robson trying to get amongst it. Sold himself a little bit. Schuster has space. Vizcaíno. On towards Manolo. Away by Bruce. Free kick goes Atletico's way. Hughes penalised.
Well, full match to the Spaniards. I mean, they may be rattled defensively, but they're certainly willing to come out and play a bit of football here at Old Trafford tonight.
Not trying to commit men forward on the break. Juanito with a free kick to Vizcaíno, trying his luck from long range. There's Schuster's minder. We heard all sorts of reports from Spain that he had gastroenteritis, that he had a huge hole in his ankle, that he has a heart condition. but he looks fit enough to me. It's amazing the mind games that these teams take on in the build-up to a big game like this in Europe. You can't believe anything until you see the players take the field. Atlético were very reluctant to release their team until the very last moment tonight. Tony with a throw. Gabriel Moya. Bruce first to it. Neil Webb. Mark Hughes. Brian Robson. McClare had made the break down the centre. Juanito with the header away. Sola Faubal almost lost that under his feet. Schuster all the way back to his goalkeeper Abel.
Well, they've just settled down a little bit now, the Spaniards, as I said, after a very shaky start indeed. And beginning to look a classy side, knocking the ball about in the middle of the park and breaking well.
This is Tomas, the right fullback. Ryan Giggs doing some good defending in the United cause. Tomas looking for Futre. Blackmore that time with a challenge. Interesting that Futre's playing out on the right. As I say, he's very left-footed, and they're going to have to watch him cutting in and trying to get shots on goal from there. They push him on the outside, and he's unlikely to be able to get in the kind of cross that he would like. Hughes. He's really up for it tonight. Laird looking for McClare. Juanito, the last man for Atlético. Mike Phelan. Robbins just beat to it by Juanito, but looking for Giggs, and here's Hughes trying to play Giggs in the game, but Donato was across in the nick of time. Schuster. Moya. Manolo. Futre against Parker again, and that's no contest at the moment.
That was a tremendous bit of defending. I think we're maybe a little bit concerned before the match with the absence of Gary Pallister. But Paul Parker's showed Futre a clean pair of heels on 2 occasions now.
McClare's found Hughes. Robbins and Giggs are in support. Hughes just got a nick there from Juanito. If he'd gone down a shade earlier, he might have got what the rest of Old Trafford were appealing for. Vizcaíno. Moya. Tony. Vizcaíno. Schuster. Futre. Manolo to his right. Tomas now popping up wide on the right-hand side. Scooped up by Gary Walsh. Well, Mark Hughes just stumbled for a moment as Juanito made contact with him. And my goodness, if Hughes had gone down there rather than when he eventually went down, I think the referee would have been hard-pressed to have turned down the appeals, Gordon.
Well, I think he certainly made contact with Hughes in the first instance, but unfortunately Mark Hughes stayed on his feet and then made a little bit of a dive at the end of it all.
The jewel in the crown of United's glittering European record is their invincibility at home. 6 times during that unbeaten sequence they've won home ties by 4 or more goals, but never really against this class of opposition. That's what they've got to do tonight. They've had some notable 3-goal wins. Bilbao at Main Road in the very first season, then Dukla Prague, Anderlecht, and of course Barcelona here. But tonight they've got to go one better. They've made a great start. We've had 17 minutes, and Manchester United lead by a goal to nil on the night, but trail 3-1 on aggregate. Mike Phelan. Away by Juanito, along by Schuster. Bruce fitting Vizcaíno to it. Donato to Schuster. Manolo unable to control his forward ball.
I don't think we'll see Gary Walsh here building up too much from the back. I think he's got a tremendously long kick and he'll be using that to United's advantage tonight.
Hughes underneath the latest boomer from the left foot of Gary Walsh. Ryan McClare. Oh, he's broken the challenge of Sola Arbal. Possibilities here. McClare looking for the near post when everybody was far, but he's got a corner.
Just picked her on option there, Brian McClare. Ryan Giggs was in space at the back post, and if he maybe dinked one over to the back post, United would have another great opportunity to add to the one goal they scored already.
Neil Webb with the corner. Steve Bruce is forward. Goalkeeper's come a long way and made a good catch. This is the man who holds the world record for the longest run without conceding a goal. 13 games last season. Abel, the Atlético Madrid goalkeeper. Futre, the Atlético Madrid skipper. He slipped it in here to Schuster, who was looking for Futre with a little back heel, but Futre hadn't read him. A little bit of improvisation from Schuster. But not only fooled the defenders around him, he fooled his captain too.
Well, full mark to the Spaniards, because they're not prepared to just try and soak up United's attacks. They're also willing to come forward, and Schuster there in a very forward position.
Offside against Paulo Futre. United in a hurry to get on with it. Too much of a hurry, really. Steve Bruce's heart rather ruining his head there just for a second. Tomas getting forward from fullback. Parker inevitably across, spotting the danger. 20 minutes played. That fourth minute goal from Mark Hughes has reduced the aggregate deficit to just 2 goals. It's Mark Hughes' 6th of the season for United. Schuster finding Vizcaíno. Moya stretching his legs, but McClare, who's an absolute workaholic in the Manchester United cause, is back there to concede the corner kick.
Well, they're working extremely hard, United. We've seen Brian McClare back in defensive positions, Ryan Giggs, and of course Brian Robson in that magnificent tackle earlier.
Now concentration all important here, with both Donato and Juanito forward from the back. That's Donato, with Brian Robson as a bodyguard. Steve Bruce it was who won it. Paulo Futre, charged down by Mark Hughes. Ryan Giggs, the sole man forward for Manchester United. Header away by Tomas, helped on by Juanito. Futre, Schuster hanging wide to his left. 3 waiting in the middle. And it's Vizcaíno arriving late in the day, who is flagged offside. Both the linesmen are from Belgium tonight. They have interesting occupations. One is a tax inspector, and worse still, the other is a maths teacher. Here's Mike Phelan. The referee felt that was a foul throw by Phelan. And again, just a little sign of Manchester United's impatience to get on with things. Moya. Free kick has actually gone Manchester United's way, and I think Moya found guilty of a little bit of play acting. Midway through the first half, Steve Bruce with the free kick. Headed away by Donato, on by Vizcaíno. This is Manolo, who scored that painful 3rd goal in Madrid a fortnight ago, but as Thomas got forward, so Giggs got back. And what a rapidly maturing young man this is. He's been named in every game for Manchester United this season, bar their European ties. But nothing seems to faze him at all. He just gets on with his business as if he's been wearing that red number 11 shirt for years. Futre. Parker didn't get the ball that time. Advantage played though. This is Gabriel Moya. And Atletico are unable to take advantage. Ron Atkinson, most interested spectator. What a start Manchester United have made.
Yes, dream start. Very important now that they don't try and rush the game. They've got a long old time now to pull those 2 goals back. And I would suggest they make sure that the Spaniards don't get another goal. And in fact, if it needs to go to the sound of the trumpets, wait till the last 20 minutes before they start a cavalry charge. They're doing okay at the moment, but they've got to be careful now. The Spaniards are starting to get their passing game going.
Headed by Clayton Blackmore. Ryan Robson. Ryan McClare. Blackmore. Hughes went down on the edge of the penalty area, unable to make any impression on Tony, but it was shoulder to shoulder. Here's Tony, the left back. Schuster in support. Trying to play Futre in. He got in his shot ahead of Parker that time. Goal kick. But if Paul Parker won the first 2 races against Futre, then that short 6-yard sprint went Futre's way, and he got an effort in on goal.
I think Paul Parker just done enough here to slightly put him off, but I'll be a little bit concerned about the amount of ball that Schuster's getting just now and what he's doing with it as well. He's using it to great effect.
They're almost tied together tonight. Webb with the flick on. McClare. Hooked away by Solothaba. Blackmore's got it back. Now Schuster. 4 forward in the attack. It's 4 against 3 here for a moment in Atletico's favour. Ben Schuster. He's delayed a long time and he was just unable to find Futre thanks to Steve Bruce, who made an heroic intervention in the Manchester United cause. Mark Hughes. But Alex Ferguson's well aware that United have got to take chances. He said as much yesterday. There'll be a little bit of gung-ho about us tonight, he said, but it's worth the risk. Everybody understands it's a difficult job, we've just got to go for it.
I think at the same time they need to be extra careful at the back. You've seen Clayton Blackmore pushing forward there, get caught in possession, and we ended up in a situation with 4 Spaniards against 3 United defenders.
Attack is the chant from the Stretford end. United almost being blown forward by their most loyal supporters down behind Gary Walsh's goal. A goal that's coming under threat again by another carefully engineered Atletico break. Paulo Futre in possession. Vizcaíno. Manolo couldn't control it. Blackmore got to the ball first. Well, the free kick has gone Atletico's way. Clayton Blackmore was a wee bit unfortunate there. Vizcaíno got the award. Paul Parker losing out to Moya inside his own penalty area, but Moya had no support. Gordon McQueen, are you a little surprised at just how many men Atletico are prepared to commit to attack?
Yeah, very much so, because I fully expected them to try and just sit back, play a sweeper, time-wasting tactics, passing the ball back to goalkeepers, and that just hasn't happened at all. And they're putting a lot of pressure on Clayton Blackmore there with terrific breaks down the right.
Both teams have lost the leadership of their domestic championship since the first leg. United, of course, regained top spot in England on Saturday. But Atletico are now a point behind Real Madrid in Spain. And Foutre actually said that their 1-0 win over Osasuna on Saturday represented their poorest display of the season. Not exactly coming here in the peak of form. Robins unable to squirt the ball back to Blackmore. Bruce to Parker. Wasn't a pass that you write a thank you letter for, but Foutre was offside.
Yeah, he was well and truly offside there, but it would be just nice if United could put a little bit more pressure on the Spaniards and keep them in their half. But saying it's a lot easier saying that than doing it when they've got so many good players.
We really do want them to be all things at both ends of the field, don't we? Hughes to Giggs. Robson bursting into the penalty area. Down he went under pressure from Thomas's challenge. No, says the referee, who was pretty well positioned. Brian Robson certainly felt that it was worth an appeal. Ben Schuster. Paulo Foutre. Steve Bruce with him this time, and Bruce is there first. Must admit, my feelings was that less of a convincing appeal than the first one, although none of them touched the ball.
I think the referee was perfectly right there with the Brian Robson decision. I don't think it was a penalty at all.
Guy Goethals very much in charge. Robson with a free kick. In towards Bruce, who definitely got a nudge there inside the box from Juanito. Unseen though by the referee. Webb has got a free kick, but Gordon McQueen, your instincts are exactly the same as mine then.
There was no doubt in my mind about that there. Steve Bruce, they blocked his run and pushed him in the box. They'd obviously heard about his aerial threat. That was a definite penalty kick.
Neil Webb with a free kick. Half an hour gone. 1-0 Manchester United lead on the night. Header away by Juanito. Back in there by Blackmore. It ran all the way through. Steve Bruce was offside.
I think things are getting a little bit hectic at these set pieces now. I see one or two elbows flying around in that set piece situation. They're obviously very worried. I've obviously heard about Steve Bruce's reputation of scoring goals.
It was Donato who was with him in actual fact, and down Bruce went, but what could the referee see from there?
Well, it's never easy for referees, but it was a penalty nevertheless.
4 goals in Europe last season, plus a claim to one in the final, Steve Bruce. He's absolutely prolific for a defender. Here's Mark Hughes. Clayton Blackmore. Mark Robins at least has forced a throw in. Off Juanito there, the sweeper. Blackmore volleying it in, it hit Giggs. Vizcaíno trying to dribble his way out of trouble. And succeeding. Tony. Schuster was a long way forward again there, but it's cut out by Blackmore. Webb. Solatabal. And Vizcaíno and Juanito is calming it down and trying to run down the clock.
Very difficult for strikers, young Mark Robinson and Mark Hughes here in situations like that. Playing against man-to-man markers and of course a sweeper tucked in behind the two markers. Very difficult indeed for them.
Donato. Paulo Foutre. Parker again in charge. He's certainly got it on points at the moment. But Foutre is the sort of striker who can deliver a knockout from nowhere. Blackmore. Giggs. Vizcaíno. Not the best of headers. Webb forced it forward. Vizcaíno jumped into him, and Manchester United have a free kick. He couldn't control the first header. He wasn't sure where the ball had gone. He was jumping rather desperately, and he jumped into Neil Webb.
Yeah, Vizcaíno made no attempt whatsoever there to play the ball. Just turned his back on the whole thing.
Free kick to Manchester United. It's in Clayton Blackmore territory, this, and he's standing just behind Brian Robson. Robson in towards Steve Bruce. Just beaten to it, but it's come out as far as Webb. It towards Hughes. Oh, it came off the defender Donato, and he'd no idea where it was going. And where it went was into the side netting for a Manchester United corner. Neil Webb shakes his head in frustration. He's got the short corner though. Turned away that time by Tony. Paul Parker. United having to retreat to stay onside, have nobody wide. Solathaba. Hughes making it so difficult for him. His foot was high. Well, if you'd said at the start of the night that after 34 minutes Manchester United would be leading by 1-0, I think Alex Ferguson would have settled for that. But the fact that their goal came so early from Mark Hughes after just 4 minutes rather sharpened our appetite for more immediately. United, despite a couple of close shaves and a couple of strong penalty appeals, have just been unable to force the initiative since that ideal start.
Well, they certainly look a particularly dangerous team in the counter-attack, and I must say I've been very impressed with their performance so far, although, as we've said before, in the early stages of the game, the defence was in tatters. But they've settled down rather well now, unfortunately, for United.
Well, they've still only conceded one league goal at home. The Barcelona goal by Hristo Stoichkov, which gave them their only defeat in the Spanish First Division 10 days ago. That's the measure of the opponents the United face tonight. And the quality of the defence that they're trying to pierce. Hughes, who's done it once. Giggs. Early in towards Robbins, header away by Tony. Webb beautifully delivered to Brian McClare. 5 queuing up for the cross, not there though. Vizcaíno turned it away. Bruce. Offside, might have been Ryan Giggs on the far side. I think he was the furthest forward.
It's vitally important that when you do break forward, like the situation Brian McClare was in there, that you do get good quality crosses in and put the Spaniards under some kind of pressure. I'd also like to see Ryan Giggs get a bit more of the ball and having a go at Thomas.
10 minutes of the first half remaining. Clayton Blackmore finding Brian Robson. Ryan Giggs has a free kick. Blackmore. Webb doing well to get a touch on. Robbins just unable to control it under pressure from Tony. This is Moya. Vizcaíno. Break down the centre by Manolo. Gary Walsh is committed. Manolo's gone round him. He's turned it towards the goal, but Blackmore's there. Well, Gary Walsh made his mind up to come, and Manolo got there just ahead of him. But Clayton Blackmore, who made that dramatic last-minute clearance off the line from Laudrup in the final in Rotterdam, made another important one. Foutre, headed by Neil Webb. Biggest scare yet for Manchester United. Tony, Bruce taken calmly on the chest.
It's just such a tremendously difficult situation that Manchester United are in. They've got to chase the game and at the same time try and keep things tight at the back. But we've already mentioned Manolo and Foutre, tremendous pace and always a big threat.
Here is Manolo. The one that got away for Atletico Madrid and for their number 7. 4 in the first round against the Norwegian side Fillingham, 1 in the first leg here, or over in the Vicente Calderón against United, and nearly another one here. Vizcaíno. Mike Phelan. Robbins just got there ahead of Solathaba, but he couldn't direct it to Hughes, and Juanito is able to probe and look for Foutre. Nobody within 25 yards of him at the moment. Now Moya's getting into the box, and now Manolo is popping up here inside the United box. Futre taking over again. Tackled by Blackmore. And Steve Bruce just had a word with Futre, who does have a reputation for being a bit of a diver. And certainly Bruce felt that he was guilty then. Blackmore won the ball cleanly. Mark Hughes going in on a Bell, who just managed to get a foot to the ball. Brave goalkeeping there. It's never been less than lively, this match. Bruce. Ryan Giggs has got space. Oh, he just couldn't get a toe to it. That's all it needed with that Bell committed. He had his back to the goalkeeper. He couldn't really have known where he was. He was just stretching out and hoping to get a touch. And Bell was hoping against hope that he didn't.
Well, that was a great pity. It was a delightful little ball in here for Brian Robson. He just gets caught off balance a little bit. That was an opportunity, a good one.
The margins are so slim at this level. The margin between success and failure. United could have had 2 or 3, but they could have conceded a goal, and that in itself could be fatal. They are 1-0 up on the night. They are 3-1 down on aggregate. And Moya has got away from Bruce here. A real chance for Atlético. And what a mess he made of it. Gabriel Moya, instead of trusting his left foot, went with his right. And what a good decision it was from Manchester United's point of view. But that's twice now in the last 5 minutes the United have been undone. Moya here having the best chance of all. Tony, cut out by Bruce, who just got caught for once then. Corner kick. Alex Ferguson wants every minute available to him tonight, but I have a feeling he wouldn't mind the half-time whistle right now, just to settle it down. He's got 5 more minutes to wait. Schuster with the corner. Headed by McClare, forced the ball back to the edge of the 6-yard box, but Parker and Blackmore were there as a second line of defence. I was saying earlier that Vizcaíno, the Atlético number 9, is rumoured to have a heart problem. That is not a problem to have on a night like this. I think we've all got heart problems tonight.
They're just so dangerous in their counter-attack, the Spaniards. Steve Bruce got caught out there, as you mentioned. The wind's got up a little bit, and I think it probably deceived them. Caught in the wind a little bit, but very close to getting punished there. Which would be a great shame, because they've put so much into the game, United, so far.
It's such a tall order, and it's being like set 400 to win a test match. And as you go for the runs, there's a chance you might lose a wicket or 2, and that's the conundrum that Manchester United have got somehow to unravel. They've got to go for goals, but they daren't concede one. And they've got another foothold deep inside Atlético territory.
Well, this is a situation we're looking to take advantage of. I mentioned earlier with Steve Bruce getting up into the set-piece situations.
Bruce is inside the penalty area. Ryan Robson with the free kick. It's in towards McClare. Came off with Vizcaíno. Awkward header for Solazabal. Bruce trying to get in amongst it. Abel eventually laid claim to it. Ben Schuster. Manolo making the break down the centre. Parker came to meet him. Schuster's run through them all here, but Parker got in a second bite. Gobbled up the ball. Ryan Robson. Last 3 minutes of the first half. Mike Phelan venturing forward. Neil Webb. Vizcaíno got back to make the challenge. This is Moya. Futre. And Bruce running away from him there for a moment. He's turned him here as Futre. It's a dangerous cross. Just behind Manolo. Schuster. Manolo had gone on, but Robson did enough there just to force Schuster into an uncontrolled pass.
It looks a little bit special, Futre. But so far, Paul Parker and Steve Bruce have done a reasonably good job on them. Paul Parker in particular having an outstanding match.
We've heard a lot about the Atletico president, Jesus Gil, and Paulo Futre is a very special player to him, because when Gil made his bid for the presidency, it was on the ticket of bringing Futre to Atletico. Futre and Cesar Luis Menotti, the Argentine World Cup winning manager, and Gil was elected on the strength of that ticket. So when Paulo Futre goes to him and asks for a new contract worth £1.1 million a year, as he's doing at the moment, he might feel as though he's justified. It's not a bad wage in these days. Tony. Futre, whose claim is that that is what Schuster is getting, so he deserves it too. Moya. Head away by Blackmore. Solothabal. Moya. Tony. Seeking out Schuster. Outfoxed Ryan Giggs there. But full marks for the young Welshman again.
That was terrific defending. One European superstar.
Well, he's
getting tackled by one that's going to be a superstar.
He's had 6 minutes of international football, that's all. I think he's going to get a bit more next week against Luxembourg. But as I said at the start of the game, everything that's asked of Ryan Giggs, he just seems to answer most naturally. Last whistle of the first half. Manchester United got an absolutely perfect start. A goal inside of 4 minutes, created by Brian Robson and scored by Mark Hughes, the two survivors of that great win over Barcelona. They've set the same kind of tone for tonight. They've reached the same stage at half-time, a goal to the good, but they need to find an extra one tonight. 1-0 Manchester United lead on the night. They're still 3-1 down on aggregate, but they've made a start. You'll be able to see them finish after this break.
Commentators Gordon McQueen. First voice you'll hear is that of Clive Tilsley.
Atletico, of course, were the first team to beat United in 12 European ties since their return last season. The first team to beat United this season. Alex Ferguson's team have already played 6 more games than their opponents. Another reminder of the assault course that we put our top players on every year. But I don't think that fatigue will be a problem, whilst the carrot of a passage into the quarter-finals remains dangling tantalisingly in front of Manchester United. Liverpool have shown them the way tonight. Manchester United need 3 more to make it a great Northwest double. But under pressure immediately with Gabriel Moya. Viciano trying his luck from long range. And Manchester United need all the vocal support that they can get now as they attack the Stretford end in this second half. Headed by Juanito. No changes to the starting lineups for the start of this second half. Clayton Blackmore with the throw. McClare looking for Giggs. Turned away by Donato. Brian Robson just clipped Moya.
Well, if we could just get the start that United got in the first half, and if you thought Madrid were nervous defensively in the first half, I'd love to see them if United went another goal and went 2-0 in front.
I'd love to see them if we had Gordon McQueen in his prime to throw amongst their central defenders right now. But as Ron Atkinson said, Gary Pallister, half fit, is available on the substitutes bench. Danny Wallace is there too. But now it's Gabriel Moya for Atletico. He's getting further away, if anything. He had the best chance of the first half for Madrid. But Gary Walsh so far untroubled. He has played in the semi-final of this competition here against Legia Warsaw last season, the young goalkeeper. And this is in fact his 40th first-team game for Manchester United tonight, spread over 5 years of injury problems, so he's not inexperienced. Neil Webb, looking for Mark Robins. Hasn't really been able to get into the game tonight, but just show him a glimpse of goal. And Robins is the ideal man for the situation. Alex Ferguson said yesterday, if all the chances that we get fall to Mark Robins, I'll be a happy man. Solazabal. Tony. And Atletico, just as they did in the first half, not frightened to commit men to attack on the break. Well, that will never reach Tony. Steve Bruce. Mark Robins. On the free kick. It's almost like an interrogation process. Manchester United have got to turn the thumbscrews and try and force a confession out of their opponents. Bruce with the free kick. Header, a good one by Juanito. Bruce again. Hughes competing for it, didn't make contact. Make contact with Juanito, all right. Well, it's a pretty dramatic reaction, but Mark Hughes' right arm was high. And the referee is looking for his card, and I have a funny feeling it's going to be, well, it's yellow. The red was in his hand for a moment. It's a yellow card for Mark Hughes. Well, he was looking for leverage. It wasn't an elbow in the face as such.
No, I think the defenders made the most of that. He was obviously fighting and scratching to try and get the ball and putting everything into it. But I think the defender here is making the most of it.
Juanito is actually, in fairness to him, soldiering on. Apparently he's in need of a knee operation, but it's been postponed until the end of the season. But it's not his knee that's causing him a problem at the moment. He's not quite sure where he is and what day it is.
Although, to be fair to the Spaniards tonight, as we said, there haven't been time wasting. There's been no gamesmanship and no cynical tackling from the Spaniards either.
Vizcaíno out to Moya. Mike Phelan with the challenge. Webb. A little bit outnumbered there. This is Moya. Robson got in the tackle. I wonder how many hundred of those he makes a season. McClare. Bruce. Ryan Giggs just had a sight of the ball in front of him, but Abel was so quickly out to the edge of his penalty area. He's a very alert goalkeeper. As I said at the start of the first half, he isn't the tallest, but he's very mobile and very positive. Hughes trying to be positive. Robson, well, he caught Vizcaíno very, very late then. Brian Robson was shown the yellow card in the first leg of this tie. And so if Manchester United should progress, he will miss the first leg of the quarter-final. But it's a big if at the moment.
Well, there's an awful lot of bodies and defenders about here. Mark Hughes initially makes the run forward, runs into a crowded defence. And Brian Robson comes hurtling in. He just catches the...
Just.
With Cayenne a little bit late there. Maybe a little bit of frustration creeping into the play just now, because obviously the longer the game goes on, the more anxious United will become.
Well, Robson has been forced into action as a substitute in the last two Manchester United games. He's actually played nearly 2 hours of football in those matches at a time when Manchester United would like to have rested him completely. But the timing of his exclusion from the England squad, his retirement from international football, from a motivation point of view, couldn't have come at a better time for Manchester United. He's led them magnificently again tonight. Now Bruce penalised for a very clumsy challenge on Foutre. And United have been unable to get going at the start of this second half. They need goals, and what they're getting at the moment are yellow cards and free kicks given against them. They also need a bit more vocal encouragement. Moya told to get to his feet this time, no free kick. Paul Parker. A rather tense air about Old Trafford in the opening 7.5 minutes of this second half. Manchester United still leading by 1-0 on the night, scored as early as the 4th minute of the first half by Mark Hughes, but trading 3-1 on aggregate. Brian Robson, Neil Webb. Robson was taken late there by Schuster. In fact, it's Vizcaíno who's in trouble. And there's the 3rd yellow card of the opening 8 minutes of this second half. 2 to United, 1 to Madrid.
Vizcaíno returning the compliment there on Brian. I don't think he can have too many complaints after his last tackle, but Brian just gets up and gets on with it.
Well, the referee's given the throw.
Yeah, the game's just a little bit scrappy just now, and it's important for United to keep their momentum. A little bit of a scrappy start to the second half.
It's a throw that's being hotly contested, to say the least, but the linesman, after some deliberation, has decided that it's Manchester United's. Phelan. Headed by Schuster. This is Vizcaíno, the player who's just been cautioned. Paulo Futre. He's got support from Moya and from Manolo. Futre taking on Parker and getting in the cross. Steve Bruce was there just as well. Robson. Webb. Played in towards Ryan Giggs. Abel again has committed himself, and Abel has again got there. And he's got a rap too from Ryan Giggs, and he's in trouble. Yellow card for Ryan Giggs now, for the late challenge on Abel, the goalkeeper. He is a very courageous customer, isn't he, Gordon?
Yeah, he's had a very good game tonight indeed, and maybe Ryan Giggs just lifts his boot a little bit higher than he should have done there and collides with the goalkeeper.
Had to go for it.
But unfortunately for United, Abel's looked at, well, as Ron Atkinson said, probably the best goalkeeper in Spain.
He's actually a number 3 behind Zubizarreta and Buyo in the pecking order at the moment, but he is an international. He's 31 years of age now, Abel, so I suppose his international opportunities are limited, but he's something of a folk hero after setting that world record last season. Over 21 hours of football without conceding a goal, and he actually had a street named after him in his hometown in Toledo.
Well, it's just been one stoppage after another, and I'm sure Alex Ferguson is standing there looking anxiously. He wants them to go on with this game.
Minutes of the second half gone. 1-0 Manchester United on the night. 3-1 Atlético on aggregate. Hughes to Robbins. Mike Phelan getting forward. Got away from Tony. Taking on Moya. Moya seen to run across him, and Phelan, in trying to get a foot to the ball, got a foot to Moya. Well, this is what Manchester United can't afford to let happen. They can't afford for the rhythm of the game to be disrupted in this way.
Well, I think Mike Phelan, when he was trying to break forward there in this section, he was trying to break down the right. I think he felt he was obstructed here. Moya lifting his right arm up, but he was a little bit rash there.
But Abel has just been beaten on that one occasion, while some of the huge crowd here at Old Trafford were still taking their places. He's held firm since. Vizcaíno. Schuster. Manolo. Schuster suddenly seems to have time. It's a commodity that United can't afford to allow him to have. Tomas in the chase with Blackmore, and Tomas has got there first, and United are undone a little bit here. Tomas the fullback, Walsh got a hand to it, and what a crucial hand it was, and Phelan turned it away. It's another escape for United. Gary Walsh and Mike Phelan, the heroes of that particular hour. And if Walsh hadn't have got that deflection to Tomas's cross, it was heading for a scoring Atletico boot. The referee has just held up play for a moment because the Spaniards want to make a substitution. And it's a fullback for an attacker, albeit an adventurous fullback, Miguel Soler, who will replace Manolo here.
Well, it looks as though the Spaniards are going to just try and tighten things up now, and they don't expect to lose 2 goals, certainly not 3 in the rest of this game.
Soler, who played at left back in the first leg, lost his place tonight, but he's back in the action now. Vizcaíno. Webb. Phelan. Offside given against Hughes, turned away by Juanito anyway, but Atletico have their free kick. And United have been just unable to provide that copybook start to this second period that they had to the first. They not only scored once in that opening period, they could have had 2 or 3.
Well, this was a great run forward by Tomas here, a very dangerous situation indeed. But Gary Walsh spreads his body, right-handed save, Mike Phelan just gets it away.
Foutre it was who was closing in, and I don't think Foutre was going to miss. Manchester United have just missed the beat for the moment in this second half. Here is Foutre. That breeze really is quite strong now, and it's blowing in Manchester United faces. It's really got up in the last hour or so. Here's Tony. Parker's back there. Did he win the ball? Yes. Corner. Well, there's always going to be a bit of a roller coaster ride with United tonight. There were going to be downs as well as ups, but this is the biggest down they've had so far. First quarter of an hour this second half has been an unsettling time for Alex Ferguson, the team, and for the supporters. Schuster. Soler, the substitute. Away from Hughes. Moya going on alone, and Walsh had to make another save. Moya took on 3 there and beat them all, but Gary Walsh was up to the challenge. Now can United draw inspiration from that save? McClare asking an awful lot of gigs with that pass. He's quick, but not that quick.
Well, this is another terrific save from Gary Walsh. He certainly hasn't let United down tonight, and it could have been curtains if that one had went in.
An hour gone. Manchester United 1 up on the night, 3-1 down on aggregate. Paulo Foutre. Atletico growing in confidence and stature in this match. Foutre has only Moya in the middle for the moment, but he's won a corner and there'll be more arriving now.
We just can't seem to get the Spaniards in their half of the pitch under any pressure at all. And give us that goal, it would give us an absolutely grandstand finish.
Foutre waits. Schuster will take the corner. It's in towards Donato, and he almost got to it. Brian Robson did. Ryan McClare gets it away, but only as far as Tony. Phelan's attempted clearance hit Tony full in the face. Not too many sympathetic to his cause inside Old Trafford, as Tony lies prostrate on the edge of the penalty area. Ouch. Solafaba with a header.
Yeah, he took a good old whack in the mouth there, but the groundsman will get his teeth for him after the game.
Here's Hughes with some space, couldn't control it. Juanito got it away. Bruce first to it. Vizcaíno. Ben Schuster. Here they come again. Moya. Now Soler. Schuster and Foutre waiting in the middle. Moya taking over again. He's outstripped Phelan here. Deflected by Parker. It'll be a corner. These are dangerous, dangerous moments for Manchester United. One goal conceded would surely finish it all.
This is excellent play by Moya. And is it a save from Gary Walsh? No, Paul Parker for another corner kick for the Spaniards.
Cleverly controlled on the back of Paul Parker. Schuster with the corner. It's in towards Juanito this time. Bruce just did enough. Webb got it away. Ryan Giggs. There's not a pass on for him at the moment. They've just become very disjointed, United. They've lost their way a little bit here. Vizcaíno. And Atletico are starting to stroll. And not even Brian Robson can put them out of their stride.
It's just so difficult when you're chasing the game the way United are just now, and of course this is a very talented side they're playing against.
Mark Robbins is going to come off, and as Ron Atkinson predicted, it's Gary Pallister who will take his place. Now, which end of the field is Pallister going to play?
Well, they could put him at the back and play him, push Steve Bruce up, or just throw him straight into a centre forwards role and try and expose them with that weakness they've got in the air in their back four.
It's Pallister, the striker, tonight. He's been soldiering on with a sciatic nerve problem and played in some pain. Managed to get through the last 15 minutes on Saturday. But he's being asked to do something completely different in the Manchester United cause tonight, Pallister. Play up front alongside Hughes. Schuster is the free kick specialist, but it looks like he's going to tee one up here for Donato. Oh, and Gary Walsh only just got to it. That must have moved in the air, but he got to it. It's a corner kick. Donato is actually Brazilian born. He's now a naturalised Spaniard.
Well, that was a bit of a Brazilian special. A tremendous swerve in this. Maybe the wind carries it a little bit. Gary Welsh seems to roll up his arms, hit his chin, and away out for, what is it, another corner for Atlético.
It was a good header that by Walsh. Well, if Manchester United do manage to go home happy tonight, they'll look back on this period and wonder how. Schuster in towards Donato with a header, and that wasn't far away either. Another narrow squeak for Manchester United. Gary Walsh having made the save to concede the corner. A shot which actually went off his hands and onto his head. Look at it move. Oof. Gary Walsh was up to it. Giggs losing out to Tomas. Moya.
Well, actually, United were hoping to put Atletico under pressure in this half, but it's not really working out that way at this moment in time. And quite a lot of corner kicks and mounting a few attacks as well.
Foutre. Tony. Looking to play Soler in. Away by Mike Phelan. Ryan McClair. One meaningful, purposeful attack might just lift Manchester United's spirits. Clayton Blackmore trying to trigger it. But again, it wasn't the ball that Ryan Giggs was expecting. And Donato is just able to shepherd it out for a goal kick. And Atletico are just very much in charge at the moment. They won through the first round with 6 goals to spare against the Norwegian part-timers of Fillingham. United, of course, needed extra time to see off Athinaikos, as if they weren't playing enough cup football.
You know, what can United do to change this at this moment in time? I'm not quite sure, because due to injuries, I mean, there's not a great deal of choice in the bench.
And it's showing. The nerve ends are very frayed. Ryan Giggs, placid as they come in football, letting his frustration show there. Parker, first ball launched into Pallister, won it. That'll give them something to think about. Here's Phelan, Robson, looking for Webb on the far side of the penalty area. Tony got it away. Paulo Futre, and here they come on the break again. Look, 5 men in attack. Futre looking to go it alone for a moment. Now Soler popping up on the left-hand side. 3 in the box. In towards Schuster. Stepped away from Robson. And he would have done had he not been caught. Free kick, maybe a pace outside of the penalty area. Brian Robson catching Bernd Schuster. It's absolute anguish.
Yeah, it was a lovely piece of skill by Schuster. Brian, well, no real malice in that tackle, but just caught him. But we're in a really dangerous situation. If the last free kick that Donato took's anything to go by.
Well, I fancy that Schuster might like to get his own back here. He is an absolute wizard with free kicks from this range, the blonde German. It's Schuster this time, and it's the goal that Atletico have been threatening. Manchester United knifed in the back by Bernd Schuster.
Well, unfortunately, Clive, he said Schuster was very dangerous in these situations, and well, it was a very well taken free kick indeed. And to be perfectly honest, they've been threatening for the last 10 minutes.
Schuster it was, curling it round the wall and past the left hand of Gary Walsh. And Manchester United now need 4 goals in a little over 20 minutes. 1-1 on the night, 4-1 an aggregate, but now Atletico have the away goal. United have got to win 5-1.
I think it was inevitable it was going to be cracks appearing. The more the game got on, the more anxious United got, and they just had to take chances, try and push players forward. And I've seen with the quality of player that Madrid have got, they started finding a few gaps in the United defence, unfortunately.
Robson with the free kick. Pallister arriving, punched by Abel. Back in by Phelan, they're all onside. Goalkeeper's down, Donato was playing them on, he was the man who made the clearance. But Abel is down and in trouble. Mark Hughes doesn't think he's in quite as much trouble as he's making out. But he's got a whole posse of character witnesses there, as the goalkeeper. The referee can't take any chances with a goalkeeper's injury.
Yes, Robbo knocks this ball, and it looks to me Pallister climbs up him, and he did take a little nasty knock, not off Pallister, but off one of his own defenders.
Well, Abel has been in the wars tonight, but nothing like the wars that Manchester United are now in. And Ron Atkinson watching on. It's a big one now for them, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, I must admit this half, Madrid have controlled the game. They broke the game up very well. United haven't been able to get ahead of steam up, which they so badly needed. Playing towards the Stretford Road end, you know, they wanted to get the crowd screaming, they wanted to terrify and get the Atletico defence nervous. They haven't done that. All fairness to the Spaniards, they've knocked the ball out, knocked the ball about very well, and that's the problem here. It's a problem for Abel, who's had an outstanding and very, very brave game for them. Looks like he's in dead trouble.
Well, there's real concern about Abel. They're calling for a stretcher. We've got to have some sympathy for him, Gordon, but I suppose if Manchester United have any hope now, it would be against a substitute goalkeeper.
Well, to be perfectly honest, I think the tie's well beyond United now. As Ron Atkinson rightly said there, the Spaniards have controlled this second half, and United just haven't really been able to get going. It's just a shame for Abel, because he's had an outstanding game for Madrid tonight, and it's sad to see him going under these circumstances, and obviously a lot of his fellow teammates very worried about the situation just now.
The substitute goalkeeper is Diego, who actually had half an hour's European experience in the second leg of the first round against the Norwegians, so he's not exactly green to the situation. He's an ex-under-21 international goalkeeper. But Abel has been such a central figure, particularly in the first half when United were on top, that Atletico will be worried about seeing him go. But it was his own player there, Donato, who thudded into him and winded him. And he's been unable to recover. Just to underline the away goal situation, Manchester United have got to score 4 more, even though the difference between the sides is now only 3 goals. Atletico have that away goal, and away goals come into operation at the end of 90 minutes of the second leg in European football.
Now this would be a comeback, substitute goalkeeper or not.
Few dying words from the exiting goalkeeper for the incoming goalkeeper. Diego takes over, 22 years of age. Abel disappears, his part having been played in this tie.
Yeah, I think they're demanding that they want the substitute goalkeeper back now to the touchline to check his boots. And his number. A great shame to see Abel going off under these circumstances, because he's played a major role in what looks like Madrid get through to the next round.
I think he'll cheer up in the morning. Robert Capri has some details about Abel's injury.
Obviously there's concern here just below me, but apparently had a neck operation last year. They feel it's an aggravation of that neck injury. His eyes are open as he goes up the tunnel, but that's all we know at the moment.
It's more than Abel knows. We'll start with a bounce ball. Well, Abel has been a hero for Atletico tonight. What chance is there that his replacement Diego could be a villain? Robson. Vizcaíno has cut out so much in front of his defenders tonight. Mike Phelan. Vizcaíno again. Fouled by Brian McClare. Alex Ferguson did say yesterday that although he was absolutely determined that United would give everything to try and retrieve the tie, he's very mindful of the fact that they have this splendid unbeaten home record down the years, 35 years of European campaigning, and he's keen that that isn't dented. They'll continue to give chase for some time.
Yeah, it'd be nice to finish this game with a victory, but obviously we're asking far too much now for United to score 5 goals. That is beyond them.
Neil Webb. Brian McClare hasn't given it up as yet, but Solazabal safely back to his goalkeeper, who wasn't too safe, was he? That's any indication of things to come. Just under 40,000 inside Old Trafford. It's another bumper payday, but European finance is so important to big clubs like Atletico and Manchester United, and Atletico looking far more likely to make progress at the moment. They're certainly keeping Diego awake in his opening minutes in the game.
That'll be a welcome, nice couple of touches for the substitute goalie.
Stretford End trying to look on the bright side of this night. It's an anthem really which is rather suitable for Manchester United's cause at the moment. 1-1 the score here, 4-1 though on an aggregate, and now you look back on those 2 goals that Atletico poached virtually against the run of play in the last 3 minutes of the first leg, and that clearly was the key to the problems that Manchester United now face. The first leg that was meandering away towards nothing, United looking the more likely side to score at that stage, but 2 lapses, 2 pieces of inspired finishing by Paulo Futre and Manolo gave Manchester United this huge task tonight, which they undertook so manfully in the first half, but they just haven't been able to get to grips with since the interval. Here's Gary Pallister. Clayton Blackmore. Body check by Tomas. The Terminator, as he is christened by one Atlético supporter that I spoke to last night. He put Paul Ince out of the first leg with a tackle. In towards Pallister. Mark Hughes trying the overhead, didn't really get hold of it. Goalkeeper hesitated. Appeals for handball against Donato as the mix-up continued, but Brian McClare couldn't get in between them.
Clayton knocks this ball, as you said, he's had a fair bit to do since he came on. Big long looping ball into the box, trying to put him under pressure. Mark Hughes tries overhead kick, Donato doesn't want it, the goalkeeper doesn't want it, eventually grabs it.
Donato didn't exactly help him out with that attempted clearance. Hughes challenged so well by Soler. Blackmore hoisted in towards Pallister. Now a chance for Ryan Giggs, but he's offside. Diego made the save, but Giggs had already been flagged.
Well, defensively they haven't been the greatest Atlético, but you've really got to admire a lot of their midfield play and attacking play tonight. One of the highest order.
They are European regulars. Their achievements include 4 major finals. They won this competition way back in 1962, but the 80s and the early 90s have been lean times for them. Only once have they progressed beyond this round of a European tournament in the last 14 seasons, and that's a criminal record for a club with expectations almost as high as United's own. And this will be a prize scalp for them if they can just keep their heads for 15 more minutes. Pallister getting his head to it, on by Webb. Away by Soler. Schuster, Moya. Tomas. Paulo Cutre. Cutre running at Bruce and then bringing Soler into it. 3 waiting inside the box. It was a wicked bending cross from Soler. It looked as if it was heading behind for a goal kick. Tomas. There's a chance here for Futre. Bruce tried to get in front of him. Still a chance for Soler. Phelan has made it difficult for him, and United escaped with a corner. Futre actually felt that he was fouled by Bruce as he tried to make that cross his own. Soler had the final opportunity.
Good attacking play again. I thought Soler was coming on to play a defensive role there when Manolo went off, but he gets into an attacking position. Puts a really dangerous cross in there.
Ben Schuster with the corner. Juanito flicked it on. This is Moya. He takes a tumble inside the box. Parker manages to hack it clear. The free kick's gone Manchester United's way. Moya was penalty hunting. Ryan McClare. It's hit and hope now. Solathabal denying Manchester United their hopes. If only they could have got a second goal in that blistering opening 10 minutes. Phelan. Headed by Donato. Bruce. Tomas almost missing out. Clayton Blackmore, but Tomas is a good defender. Cutre is a good attacker. Away from Robson. Parker got to him eventually. Looked a clean challenge. Certainly won the ball.
Well, that's been a tremendous tussle between Paul Parker and Futre tonight, and as you say, it does look a bit special, the Spanish forward, but Paul Parker's done a very good job on him tonight.
Cutre again. Vizcaíno. Moya. Atletico now so relaxed. They have that 3-goal cushion once more, and they can settle into life at Old Trafford and really enjoy themselves. Bruce with a challenge. Soler. Solathabal. Fouled by Hughes. They just can't get at them.
Well, it must be a nice feeling for Atlético. Now, when they know the tie is beyond Manchester United, they try and stroke it around the middle of the park and try and find little openings. No pressure on them at all now.
Schuster. And because they're relaxed and because they're in control, that extra little bit of technique, that fine and sure touch is showing.
Try telling Robert the game's over. He's still going full steam ahead.
Blackpool. Flicked on by Giggs. Hughes just won't quite reach it. Well, it doesn't look as if it's going to be Manchester United's night with 8 minutes remaining, but it still might be Arsenal's night, and we will have highlights of the second leg of their European Champions Cup tie against Benfica from Highbury. Straight after the final whistle here at Old Trafford. It was 1-1 at half-time, 2-2 on aggregate. Liverpool safely and proudly through to the third round of the UEFA Cup, having defeated Auxerre by 3-0 at Anfield tonight. Just 8 minutes to spare when Mark Walters got the winner. What a result that is for Graham Souness and company. But if the blunt truth of life in the Northwest is told, that will make this result all the more difficult for Manchester United fans to stomach. Blackmore. Throwing his Atléticos. Schuster played it against Blackmore, but he's been around as Bernd Schuster with Cologne, 8 years at Barcelona, then on to Real Madrid, who showed him the door the summer before last, and Atlético snapped him up, and now he's controlling things for them. And again, he's been an orchestrator for the Spaniards this evening. Brian Robson, Mike Phelan, Gary Pallister. Mike Phelan will take the throw. 6 minutes left on the watch, although there's bound to be some stoppage time for that injury to Abel. His deputy Diego seizing the ball and closing the final doors in Manchester United faces. Gary Walsh out to get there ahead of Futre. Clayton Blackmore. In towards Pallister. Just couldn't quite direct the header in the way that Hughes wanted it. Manchester United have just looked a little bit battle-weary in this second half, Gordon. It's been a popular theme amongst English football managers in the last few weeks, the sheer traffic of football in this country.
Well, there's absolutely no doubt about that whatsoever. I mean, we just play far too many games, that's the bottom line. Foreign teams can prepare better at European level and international level.
Donato finding Moya. A little bit too long for Futre and for Donato, who continued his run into the box. Phelan rubbing shoulders with Soler and winning the goal kick. Gabriel Moya, who missed that chance in the first half, a golden opportunity it was for Atlético, and we wondered then whether United would make him pay. Well, we know now that they couldn't. Last 5 minutes. Vizcaíno. Again, Bruce is penalised. It's been such a frustrating second half for Manchester United, trying to get in their tackles, trying to box a few ears and harass Atlético out of their stride. But it's been a very assured and a very sound stride since half-time. Schuster all the way back to Abel. I beg your pardon, Diego. Abel is recovering from the blow that he took on the neck, but his stand-in really hasn't been too troubled. This is Donato. Well, Gordon McQueen, part of your duties this evening are to name a man of the match. Who is your selection?
Well, I'm going for Gary Walsh tonight because I think he's kept United in the game in the second half. Probably, and that says something for the quality of the Madrid attacking play. That the United goalkeeper's been probably the best player tonight. Paul Parker's a terrific game in the heart of the defence. But Gary Walsh coming in.
Here's McClare looking for Pallister, who's offside.
He's came in and made some smashing saves tonight, and really it has kept United in the game longer than might have been expected, the way Madrid were playing at times in the second half.
The last 3 years have been very long years for Gary Walsh. He's had 4 operations on an ankle problem which threatened his career for some time. But he's met that challenge as he's met the challenge of keeping goal for one of the country's premier sides. And at 23, he's got a very bright future ahead of him. But Peter Schmeichel has already been told that he will be back in for United's next game, which is the small matter of Manchester City in the First Division. They do have a week and a half to recover, those who are not on international duty. Here's Moya. Neil Webb's there. Pallister. Vizcaíno. One back by Hughes. Brian Robson. Steve Bruce. Neil Webb. Mark Hughes. Now, can United find something just to win it on the night? Clayton Blackmore. Webb again. Into Giggs. It's as many passes as they put together, I think, in this second half. And Blackmore is unable to continue the link-up. And who should be back there to break it up but Ben Schuster. Vizcaíno. Robson making the challenge. And a difficult week it's been for him emotionally, Brian Robson. Saying a final farewell to a magnificent international career, and now to the Cup Winners' Cup. McClare, though, with a shot. But Diego is down, and Brian McClare, who scored in every round up to the final last year, and he scored in the first round this season. They needed another from him tonight, and they needed it some time ago.
Yeah, I think that just typifies this evening. Nothing really working out at all for United. Brian McClare not getting really any real power behind that shot.
Tremendous endeavour. Moving passion about their play in the opening minutes when Mark Hughes here scored that sensational goal. Just 4 minutes. Just the send-off United needed. And if they'd added a second at that stage of the game, and they look likely to, then the death throes of this match would have been a very, very different affair.
Well, it's been a courageous performance, but not really quite good enough. But if it's any small consolation to Alex Ferguson and the players, they can concentrate on the league championship that's eluded them for so long now. Although I'm quite sure it won't.
I wouldn't like to walk into the dressing room straight after the final whistle and suggest that. Here's Robson. Webb. On by Hughes. Ryan Giggs. Just couldn't quite turn into the path of Webb, but it might fall for McClare. But it's all been ifs and buts tonight. Schuster. Moya. Gabriel Moya going on. Now United really don't want to sacrifice their proud home record. Ben Schuster. Futre's made a good run, but he's offside. Just caught. But the Atlético captain will be able to further his reputation on the big stage of the Cup Winners' Cup in the quarterfinals next March. Brian Robson. Brian McClare. Giggs running the line, trying to stay onside. Webb into Pallister, looking for Giggs again, but Juanito just managed to direct the ball back to his goalkeeper. It really is a dramatic finish at Highbury in the Champions Cup match between Arsenal and Benfica. I won't let you into the secret of just how dramatic, because we will have those pictures for you just as soon as Alex Ferguson's business has been completed here tonight at Old Trafford. Celebrates his 5th anniversary with the club on Friday, but celebration really won't be the word in his mind. Thomas. Moya. Two minutes of added time played here at Old Trafford. Blackmore's clearance. Vizcaíno. Helped forward towards Foutre, but Phelan favourite. McClare. Phelan out of play, and that could be his last contribution of the evening. He's very, very short of match practice, and as a result of that, I don't think that Alex Ferguson wants to risk him any further. He's keen to bring on Lee Martin as his second substitute. And Phelan's courageous night comes to an end. Just 75 minutes of first-team football in the last month prior to tonight, but the need for Englishmen pressed him into service. And Phelan's end is Martin's beginning, but he won't have very long. 3 minutes of stoppage time played. Heath Hill, the controversial president of Atlético, said that his team would have to come and play like an invincible armada here tonight and defend like guerrillas. Well, his colourful words have been followed almost to the letter by the men in the red and white stripes. I'm not sure that they will have quite the same affection for him that United have for their president, Samat. But it's Heath Hill who will continue his soapbox antics into the quarter-final of this competition. Vizcaíno. Donato, and that's it. It was a bridge too far for Manchester United. Alex Ferguson quite rightly applauds the efforts of his team. Efforts which in the opening minutes of the night seemed as if they may be able to pull off the impossible. No English side has ever come from 3 down from a first leg and lived to tell the tale. Mark Hughes' goal gave Manchester United hope of doing that, but Bernd Schuster provided the postscript to the game with a second-half free kick which ended all doubts. And Manchester United bravely go out of the European Cup Winners' Cup, a competition which no holder has ever successfully defended, and Manchester United won't be able to do that this season either. 1-1 the final score on the night. Manchester United's unbeaten home record remains intact, but no way through.
So there we are. It was 1-1 on the night. It was 1-4 on aggregate. We will be back with more football, and as we said, high drama at Highbury. Join us for that.